Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, guys. Yes, hello, and welcome to the Motormania podcast with me, Charlie. Today, of course, it is the 9th of December. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Yes, hello, and welcome to the podcast today. Um, I'm your presenter, Charlie Tolhurst. Yes, welcome to the show. And we're in December now, the final month till Christmas. And yes, as you guys know, I haven't done one of these podcasts for a while. And I am actually tonight going to be doing the show. I do apologise if you watched the Tonight Show podcast the other day, you would have known my camera wasn't working. It's back working tonight, thankfully. So hello to everyone who's watching in tonight. We're live across YouTube tonight. I'm going to bring you about the next half an hour or so with some plenty of motoring chat. We're also going to be taking a look at what's been happening in the world of motoring this week as well. And I'm going to be talking about some more car-related things on the show tonight as well, including some content coming on YouTube, which I'm going to be talking about this week. First of all, I'm going to go over the motorsport news. And it will be single-seater racing that we're going to kick the show off with tonight. I'm going to talk about Formula 1 and Formula E. Now, Formula E raced as well the other day. Obviously, Formula E is an electric racing series. And in fact, I'm going to start with the Formula E because we had the first race of the season the other day. It was in Sao Paulo for the first race. And can I just say, yeah, this race was exciting. We had new drivers, new teams, some drivers going to new teams. We had four-wheel drive for the first time. And all I can say is this race was full of chaos. And Mitch Evans, what a drive he had. 20th to 1st after crashes, safety cars, or even a red flag at one point after Jake Dennis broke down in a very bad, precarious position in the Penske. Not in the Andretti, sorry. And yes, Jaguar won. Mitch Evans took the win ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa, who set the fastest lap, 0.3 of a second. The top four drivers were covered by just over a second. The top three covered by less than a second. Da Costa set the fastest lap. He gets that extra point in second place. A great drive from Da Costa, actually, to be honest with you. Starting 17th on the grid. Mitch Evans started right at the back. Fair play to Da Costa. Da Costa started 5th, but, you know, Evans had a shocking qualifying, but what a drive, though. That's a champion's drive without question. Da Costa gets second, and McLaren having a great race. Both drivers had not particularly great qualifyings, but Taylor Barnard and Sam Bird on the same day that, well, technically on the 7th of December, would you believe it? A day before McLaren were due to racing F1. McLaren, obviously, we get on to later, won the Constructors' Championship in F1. They start Formula E off with a very strong result, and Taylor Barnard gets his first ever Formula E podium. Congratulations. He's taking that role full-time for 2024 to 25. He's going to have a full-time drive now with that team and finishing ahead of Sam Bird. The experienced Formula E racer of Sam Bird. Fantastic result for both McLarens, actually. Sam Bird. McLaren looked good in the first race, definitely. Mortara was 5th. And De Vries 6th in Mahindra. 5th and 6th in that one. Buemi also gained places up to 7th, finished 7th. Tickton was 8th for the Cairo Race Company team. I think that's a new entry to the FE grid. I think that might be the rebranding of Neo, I think. John Eric Verne finished 9th. Van Dorn finished 10th to get the final point. Obviously, first race of Maserati. And then we had Gunter. Zane Maloney as well. I think he was, I think it's Zimbabwe, I think he's from. The Lola, one of the new entries, he finished 12th from 19th on the grid. Then obviously we had Nick Cassidy, who got caught up with a collision with Pascal Wehrlein, who started on pole for that one. Very impressive qualifying from the defending champion. Sadly, though, went out after a very quite a big, huge crash actually in that race. David Beckman retired. Jake Dennis retired. Degrassi, Hughes also retired as well for Maserati. Freins, Muller, so many other drivers retiring. Chaos and crashes around. And of course, Roland was leading and then got a penalty because he used too much energy. So that meant he was dropped down the field. He had to have a drive through. It was just because at one point Roland was actually looking like he was going to win. But yeah, what a shame. And obviously that will be the championship standings because that was the first race pretty much of the season. The next race is on the 2nd of January. We are heading, 11th of January. So we are heading to Mexico City in the 11th of January for the next round. It is going to be very interesting to see how the Formula E guys get on. Moving on now to Formula One. They raced at, it was their final race of the season for the Formula One drivers, round 24 of the season. Took place at Abu Dhabi, Yas Marina circuit. Lots of drivers in their final race. Bottas, Magnussen, Valtteri Bottas, Kevin Magnussen won't have a drive next year. And there were obviously a couple of drivers that did have. And they both collided actually as well. Bottas went into the side of Magnussen, even though K-Mag did set the fastest lap. Bottas, I think he had a brake failure or something, or just lost control of the car. Huge crash there. But Lando Norris, what a drive from him. Controlled that race from start to finish. Finishing ahead of Carlos Sainz. Ferrari at one point did try an undercut on McLaren. Sainz did come in early, but he was just a bit too far behind. Very close though. One point, I think it was just over a second. But in the end, Norris controlled the stint, won that race ahead of Sainz and Charles Leclerc, who got caught out in qualifying after a track limit violation, finished in 3rd place. What a drive from him after a bad qualifying. And it was helped on that first lap, chaotic first lap, which I'll come on to in a minute. Lewis Hamilton also got caught out in qualifying after having a bollard run out under his car. Finished 4th. What a drive from him as well in the last stint. He took so much time out of George Russell that he ended up passing Russell as well at the end of the second DRS zone into that long left-hander at the bottom of the track. On the alternative strategy, finishing 4th ahead of George Russell in 5th. Max Verstappen was 6th, and that was despite having a first lap collision with Oscar Piastri. I have to say, Max went for a gap. It's a similar quote to Ayrton Senna. You go for a gap. If you see a gap, go for it. Verstappen went for that. I have to say, it was a very clumsy move. I don't think Max was even going to make. I mean, he did turn. Piastri gave him room. I do think the penalty, well, to be honest with you, I think maybe a 5-second penalty would have been a bit fairer. But to be honest with you, it was a penalty. Was it a first lap racing incident? I know the difference between a first lap racing incident and a penalty, thank you. And I think Max, it was just one of them. It's not as bad as what happened in Mexico, but it did affect Piastri's race massively. Then obviously Piastri did run into the back of Colapinto, which was a bit clumsy from him as well. But I have to say, Piastri's race did get ruined. He did manage to sneak the final point in 10th, thankfully. At one point, nearly losing it behind the Williams of Alexander Albon. Williams having a not bad showing, actually. Albon, not doing bad. At one point, looked like he was on very old tyres towards the end of the race. Obviously, Verstappen finished 6th. Pierre Gasly, 7th place. Great drive from him. He has had such a great, particularly a great second half of the season. You know, he's been much more competitive in that Alpine. Particularly that last race in Qatar as well. He showed some great pace, especially in qualifying. He's been qualifying in the top 10, and shame in Vegas without the engine because he could have done even better, I thought. Hulkenberg, 8th. Great result for him. He obviously goes to Sauber next year. Alonso, I think it's his first point since Baku, I think. 9th place. Great points for him. Shame about the season for Aston Martin, but Piastri was 10th, and then obviously Albon, Tsunoda, obviously Zhou, Stroll, Doohan obviously replacing Ocon at Alpine for the test session for him 15th. Liam Lawson was the last of the finishers, but I think he DNF. But Lawson, the RB pit crew just basically didn't put all of his tyres on. It wasn't Lawson's fault the tyres were not on. And then obviously Bottas retired. Colapinto retired following damage. And the other retirement, Sergio Perez on the first lap got hit by Valtteri Bottas. And probably will be his last ever race for Red Bull. He has had probably one of the worst seasons in F1 I can imagine. In a Red Bull as well. It's been a very poor year for Checo as well, Checo Perez. Last podium he got was in China earlier in the year. And since Imola, he's barely even able to score points. He's been out in Q1, Q2. It's just been poor. And also as well, congratulations to McLaren for winning their first ever Constructors' Championship since 1998, would you believe it? Well done to Zach Brown, Andrea Stella, the team principal. At one point was Fernando Alonso's race engineer all those years ago. What a win for McLaren. It was such a great drive and very proud for them. I'm very happy for McLaren. I think they deserved the championship. They had the very quick cars. A shame about, could they have challenged earlier in the year for the drivers? Maybe. However, I think what they did do in the end was important and they got it done. I just want to play for you that exact clip of when McLaren waited all these years for a Constructors' Championship. Certainly was very impressive indeed. And this was a video of where they came from as well. It certainly speaks volumes to the F1 community. So, yeah. It was certainly a great day. And they're Constructors' Champions. McLaren certainly. This is what some of the drivers had to say after the race.
Today was an incredible day for everyone. So many nerves, so much pressure, especially after turn one and Oscar got taken out. Just put a lot more pressure on everyone, right? So, yeah, it was a tough race. As much it was quite straightforward and simple. One stop and all of those things, and not really many safety cars or anything to mess things up. The pressure was still there. Carlos was close behind the whole race. With the pit stop, and the pit stop is always a moment where everyone gets a little bit nervous, but the mechanics executed a perfect stop, so a good well done to them and thanks to them. I'm just happy for the team. It's a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of hours goes into achieving something like this. A lot of years goes into achieving something like this. Is not a small feat. This is huge for everyone. So it's a historic moment, and for me to be a part of that is something I'll remember forever.
It's been kind of the race that we were expecting, except for Oscar, obviously, being a bit out of the race so early on. That gave us a bit of hope with a strong lap from Charles to get in the mix straight away. Then the reality is that actually we were within reach in the first stint. That was something, honestly, yesterday I didn't expect, because the pace of the McLaren has been a bit out of reach so far this weekend, up until that first stint of mediums, that I could keep up with them and could challenge them with a bit of an undercut and put them a bit under pressure. The reality is that with the hard, as soon as we put the hard tires, then they came back to being dominant and a bit out of reach.
There's not a lot of satisfaction in me today, even though the race was honestly really, really good. And we've done a small miracle, I will say. But on the other hand, obviously the disappointment can only be huge after losing the constructors now.
Tough race, and the beginning was a little bit slow and was really struggling at that in that early phase. But to be able to come back through at the end, come back from 18th to 4th, I'm really, really, really happy with that. And mega job for the team. And all my races, they've all been powered by Mercedes, and all the success we've had. And so I just sat there to think about all that and really contemplate just how great a journey it's been.
I've not had the pace all weekend, and I was quite intrigued today to see if the pace would come, and it was just as we expected. Lewis drove an amazing race. He's been quicker than me all weekend, and deservedly finished ahead. But we can't be on it every single weekend, and this is probably on a personal level being the most challenging weekend. But we've had so many great weekends on the flip side. So you got to look at it both ways.
Yeah, Star was good again. I mean, they have been pretty good the whole year. So I went up the inside because I was not all the way alongside. So I tried to then back out of it on the apex. Tried to run onto the curb, but the damage was already done. And we cleared with of course, Oscar's left rear with my right front, and that was really unlucky. I mean, I hate coming together, and it was just really swear word.
Hey, how's it going?
Well, that was certainly the reaction from the drivers there at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And confirmation McLaren were crowned Constructors Champions the first time since 1998 at that race. So congratulations, McLaren. I'm a McLaren supporter as well, and well done to all the team. Hard work pays off, years of fighting for this, and they've finally done it in 2024. Team Papaya wins. So yeah, certainly interesting there as well. Anyway, off that now, time for the car news now. Part of the show where we go automotive theme. So, yes. Obviously, the F1 season launch returns in February next year at the O2. So, all teams will be revealing then. And so, the bit of news I'm going to be talking about. Renault introduces new shapes in a move away from traditional SUVs. Now, I have to say, this looks very interesting here. From 2028, the next-gen EVs will get new body styles. This is extreme concept hints at a new design change. They've also recently confirmed that the new 5, 4 and Twingo models will retain their own distinctive designs in the future, comes as Gilles Vidal said, the Renault design boss. Big question is how you reinvent the next step of the concept and what are the silhouettes for? Certainly Renault have got an interesting ambition with that. Certainly very interesting as well on that. In the meantime, also as well, in some more news to report, as well, Peugeot have announced a new E408. It is an arrival for the Polestar 2. It's a new electric version of the Saloon S hatchback. It will offer 281 miles along across charges. It will be available in two trim levels. Entry level Allure trim is priced from 42,175, while the GT range topper will be £44,945. In addition to every car Peugeot makes its UK lineup now with a choice of petrol, hybrid, and electric powertrains as well. So, yes, it's an interesting car. I know Peugeot have recently gone a lot electric. So, yeah, the E408 is certainly going to be interesting. This is the design of the new car here. Obviously, Peugeot have recently unveiled their new logo as well. There's the iCockpit system that we see. Peugeot's iCockpit's known for being one of the highest quality interiors for the price as well, actually. Peugeot have really upped their game. I think it was when the 3008 inch had that introduced quite a few years ago. So it certainly changed the game there massively when it came to improving interior space. It's certainly so yeah, very interesting as well. And in terms of other car news, really, there isn't much news to really comment on if I'm asking. It's not really that much. So I might move on. I'm going to move on in a minute. I'm just going to quickly see if there's been any new car news to really write home about. In terms of that, no, not really anything else. So that's the end there of the car news. Now, what is the main feature going to be for tonight's show? Yes. So I've got some content coming up that I'm going to be talking about. There'll also be a video going out on the new Aston Martin Vanquish. I'm going to be talking about what you're going to be expecting from this new car. Aston Martin have brought out a Vanquish. a new Super GT car. Years ago, the Vanquish was actually made. They brought the name back actually. I think it's the DBS replacement again. So stay tuned for this car. See what it's going to have. Now on tonight's Motormania podcast, right? Let's go over it. Now I'm going to be talking tonight about careers in the motor industry. Now, lots of areas of the world of motoring offer career pathways into working in this industry. Now, the automotive world has several other career pathways. You can be a mechanic. You could even be someone who works in a garage. You could be a vehicle technician. You could even go into motorsport as well. You could do motorsport mechanics. You could work for a racing team. You could even work in F1. You could even work in the world of social media. Yes, some of these companies really do rely on people taking. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of things tonight in the first part of this little series I'm going to be doing on the podcast. So, in this world, motoring is a very important industry. And the first bit I want to talk about is social media tonight. Now, we all know the world of social media is a big part of our technology. You know, social media is used for posting, providing content, videoing, you know, creating new ideas. And, you know, it's all about showcasing off our talents of the world, videography skills, photography skills, and anything with wheels, it's always great. Cars, motorcycles, buses, trains, all that kind of stuff. Tonight's main goal is Drive Tribe. Drive Tribe for me is what I'm going to be talking about first. Now, Drive Tribe is a motoring-based YouTube channel that was actually founded by Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May. And they actually founded this alongside the Grand Tour. And it's now becoming a huge motoring YouTube channel across the UK. It's now on YouTube. Current presenters on Drive Tribe are Mike Fernie, Richard Hammond, Izzy Hammond, and Ben Collins. Obviously, Richard Hammond does occasionally present. He was one of the founders of Drive Tribe. So the main presenters, obviously, at the moment are Mike Fernie, Izzy Hammond, obviously Richard Hammond's daughter, and also Ben Collins, who is the ex-Stig. Mike Fernie is also the head of video at Drive Tribe as well. Now, I mentioned names of these three people because they are all presenters. Mike Fernie does do another role, which is video. So if you want to get into photography or learn videography skills, like learning how to film with a camera, using all that key equipment, that is a role that Drive Tribe do. They were advertising the other day on social media for a couple of positions. If you go on to places like LinkedIn and stuff, you'll be able to view, you know, vacancies and stuff. Because Drive Tribe do actually employ people as well to work on their channel. And the channel is all about cars. It's all about cars, social media, you know, it's motoring themed, you know. It's car themed. Sometimes they do a little bit of cultural stuff as well. So they like sometimes go to a restaurant. I mean, at one point they took a Subaru Impreza, like Martin the Subaru Impreza, and a Mitsubishi Evo 10 down to Mitsubishi Evo down to Diddley Squat. And also they went to Mike Fernie and Izzy Hammond both went to James May's Royal Oak Pub as well. And they also had a little segment on the cooking thing as well there. So it was really good. And the channel is all about, I enjoy watching Drive Tribe. It's a really informative channel. You know, they obviously completely now online. You know, I enjoy it. It's a great channel. And obviously to see Izzy Hammond as well, who, by the way, if you're watching this podcast tonight, Izzy, I don't know if you are or not, but a huge mention to Izzy Hammond this year. You know, she has had a fantastic year. She's really, like, honestly, 24-year-old, obviously Richard Hammond's daughter, you know, literally this year has had a huge involvement with the channel. She's been taken on full time as a presenter. And she's just a natural behind the camera. She's just going to inspire so many people, so many young people to get into this industry. So many young people to get into the world of media industry. Like, this channel is, you know, it's a motoring channel. And, you know, to have Richard Hammond's daughter, Izzy Hammond, like literally this bright into cars and stuff, it's amazing. Obviously, he also does a podcast with her dad called Who We Are Now. That's another podcast that's also on, that's on Global Play. You can go and listen to that. That's obviously a side project from that. But Drive Tribe is a channel that is so important. I think, you know, there's what potentials. They do content. In terms of what they do, their content is going up. Like the impressions for the content 2023 up to 2 billion, 80 million subscribers across all platforms. 555 million of them plays our video content as well. In terms of that, they also have their own website. They've got a store, they've got events, production, marketing, different types of roles you can do as well. There's even different types of roles you can do: social media, integrations, video production, bespoke marketing. And they work with several other brands as well. And you can even work for them as well if you really want to. If you really want to get into that industry of cars, you know, working with, not necessarily working with cars, like you can do mechanics as well if you want to. Social media, Drive Tribe are the business. As I said, you know, when it comes to presenting, these are the team below. The team, obviously, Richard Hammond is the creative director at Drive Tribe as well. Then you obviously, as I mentioned, Dave Murdoch, managing director, Nick Fox, Mike Fernie, the head of video and a presenter, Eve Rawlings, who's now been promoted to a marketing manager. And then the presenters are obviously Ben Collins, Mike Fernie, and also Izzy Hammond, Richard Hammond's daughter there on the bottom, with holding her spanners up and a coilover as well. When she was working on, funny enough, actually, she was working on a Rover 620 Ti when that video was taken. I remember, actually, I watched the video. And they are part of the Drive Tribe community. They also sell merch online as well. And they also done a live event at the Haynes Motor Museum as well. Also, guys, I'd encourage you to go to the live events. They've done a live event at the Haynes Museum this year as well. They done a massive live event. Richard Hammond was there. The whole team were there. They done so much. It was amazing. I really hope to go. If they do an event next year, I'm hoping to go to it, because if you're a car fan, you know, it's not just this. This also helps boost their social media platforms as well. I really think this is a great industry, a great company to promote. You know, this company is social media based, but it's all about cars. You know, as I said, you can get different roles within the business, obviously on YouTube, as I said, or you can just watch them on YouTube. Watching stuff like this will make you learn more about cars. It will give you more information, because trust me, they learn a lot as well. And obviously, you can even buy this merch. This merch they all sell online. I've also got Christmas jumpers on the website at the moment as well, gift cards, hoodies. You know, they sell fashion items. Honestly, you know, this is a working business. So yeah, it's really important. I think you definitely want to look at Drive Tribe. If you like cars, I think Drive Tribe is certainly a career pathway going towards that. So definitely, yeah. And also with colleges as well that do these courses, I just want to quickly, before I finish, talk about what courses do. Mechanics is the final thing I want to touch on. So mechanics is a thing that you can do in different stages. Now, mechanics is an important qualification. If you want to go into cars or motorbikes, mechanics is a really important course, because it will learn you how to repair a car. It will learn you like the different steps, such as basic motor maintenance, including oil changes, and also diagnosing faults at high level courses. Now, one college that does do a lot of mechanic courses is a college called South Essex College, particularly a campus down in Leigh-on-Sea in Southend. It's Southend Way, Leigh-on-Sea Way. It's called Stevenson Road. Now, Stevenson Road is located just off Progress Road. It's on the way towards the KFC Leigh-on-Sea Progress Road. And this campus offers not just, obviously, mechanics. It also offers bricklaying as well as another option. But the courses here are endless. It's called the Centre for Advanced Technologies. And they also offer a variety of courses in mechanics, which I think is a very, very important industry to get into. Motor vehicle. So I thought I'd go over a few of the courses that South Essex College do before I end the podcast tonight. For any of you guys who want to look at, any of you guys that are looking for next year, maybe looking for a new career change, because some people have gone on and like worked with their own businesses and stuff, which is really important. So in terms of career destinations, you've got motor vehicle technician, car valet, LGV driver, breakdown engineer, forklift driver, auto locksmith, mechanic, can even go and do motorcycle mechanics, automotive warehouse operative, windscreen fitter, so like auto glass, you could work for them. This course provides it. There are also people there that spoke about disabilities. So at level 1, also there's an entry-free pathway as well. Level 1 is a 1-year course. In terms of this course, you'll be learning how to do chassis faults and auxiliary, equipment electrical faults, maths and English as always. Development of hand to tool skills. So you'll be learning how to deal with tools as well. And also learning how to basically have a go at about electrical faults. You can also apply for that course on the website as well. You then have the level 2 course. Then the level 2 course branches off into a few different areas. You can go into electric, hybrid hazard management, motor vehicle maintenance and repair. You can also go into electric and hybrid vehicles or vessel operation. So we'll click on the motor vehicle level 2, which is the one I'm viewing now. The level 2 motor vehicle one will feature a work placement during your program, and it'll also go over practical experience and stuff like that. It's a 1-year course. It will use motor vehicle practical skills. It will include motor vehicle technology such as engine, chassis, transmission, so including maybe changing a manual and automatic gearbox or repairing them, such as bearings and stuff, transmission, electrical, and it will also be fault diagnosis of complex faults. There will also be a health and safety briefing. Health and safety will also be covered as well. And also, as it mentions on there, all level 1 requirement for 2 GCSEs at grade 3D in maths or English will be suitable for this course. So even if you get a pretty deep, not the best grade, you can still do that course if you want to. And then finally, level 3 branches out into a few others. The level 3 diploma is level 2 in motor vehicle. You have to have a grade 4 or above though to do this one, which will include ICT, because obviously you'll be using a computer. It'll also go into doing advanced diagnosis process, so diagnosing more advanced faults and stuff. So maybe diagnosing like, maybe doing like MOTs, maybe a basic service. Theory including vehicular maths, science, electronics. After this course, by the way, you can take it into employment. So for all you fans out there that want to maybe do up an old classic car, maybe an old Motormaina or an old classic Van den Pla Princess, these courses certainly will offer the best outcome for you and for students. Definitely. So I can't recommend South Essex College enough for this course. Definitely. You know, they also do apprenticeships as well, maybe even do an apprenticeship. As I said, you know, on the website, they've got apprenticeships going as well. There's currently one apprenticeship available, which is a motor vehicle services and technician and light vehicle. This is a 36-month apprenticeship, and this will be an industry placement. So, yeah, identifying faults, basic tasks and common procedures. For that, you do need to have an A to C 94, a grade GCSE or a level 2 functional skills in maths or English to do that. So, yeah, that's certainly it. And that is it for the Motormania podcast tonight. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm your presenter, Charlie Thomas. Thanks so much for watching the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it tonight. A bit more of an informative one. So, yeah. See you next time. Take care. And like and subscribe to my channel will alert you when new videos come uploaded. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. And good night.